Buddy, this is Dr. Flight. I hope you're doing great today. This is an overview for the module that focuses on product innovation, new product development, and the idea of competing in the marketplace with the value propositions that are created. And this is really a big area. I mean, I think for pretty much every single module we cover, you could spend an entire semester just on that one topic. And this area is absolutely no different in the sense that when we create strategy, we're balancing the three big elements: what our market wants, and what they desire. So what customers are looking for to solve problems with in their products and services, what our capabilities as a firm are, like what are we able to do, what are we able to produce, what are the resources we have in order to create value in the marketplace, and then finally what the competitors are doing who are also in the same space as our market and also producing value that the consumers are choosing from. So do they choose our competitors' products? Do they choose our products? And how do we position our products relative to our competitors to face that? So when we think about strategy and we think about the value proposition and bringing firms to the market, we have to balance those three kind of big elements. And this week, or this module, really focuses on the idea of value creation and creating new products through innovation. And that's really the root of new product and service development. Is when we innovate, when we create something new, what we're doing is we're creating a new solution for customers to solve a problem that they typically already have. So they already have a a problem that they've identified. They are looking for solutions or way to solve that problem. Maybe they've had products in the past, and now this is a new product or a new way to tackle an issue or problem that they have. And so innovation is a huge concept. It is arguably what promotes and what motivates, I guess, developed economies to emerge. And in fact, it's been said that quality of life is tied very closely to the culture's ability to innovate. So if you look at, again, over time, over history, the world cultural space, I guess, the cultures that are able to innovate, create new, use new technologies, are very often those that exceed economic expectations, but also quality of life expectations too. So again, there's a very large overarching element that's included in this idea of innovation, creating new, developing new ways to do things, um, and all of that. So that's what this chapter or this module is all about. One of the interesting elements here, one of the interesting readings, is the creative monopoly, Schumpeter creative destruction pieces, where the idea is that in order to create new, you have to destroy the old. So when we have a new way of doing things, what becomes very rapidly obsolete is the old way we did things. And that's just one of those innovation evolution things that happens when a new technology comes along, old technologies go away. And they have to be destroyed or eliminated in order for the new to take its place. That's sometimes really challenging for cultures and societies to sort of wrap their heads around. But again, the new technology offers more efficiencies. It helps us do things better. I think we can all imagine what it'd be like if we all had typewriters that weren't plugged into something and we had to type papers as opposed to word processing on computers. Nowadays, I think we would begin to wonder what it was like before AI. I know a lot of folks use AI as a crutch, but it's also an immensely important tool to create efficiency, which virtually every system in a business today uses an AI technology to help it operate and think more efficiently. And we're rapidly getting to the point where we can't imagine doing work without it. And the internet, all these innovations that have come along, and continue to do so, replace an old technology, and that's a really important concept to kind of wrap your head around and think about. The reflection for this module deals with a new food technology, and this happens to be a case study between Hellman's mayonnaise and a new Just Mayo brand, where Just Mayo uses a soy-based ingredient base or product in order to create a food spread that's similar to and or the same thing they argue as mayonnaise. Hellman's mayonnaise, by virtue of this new competitive threat, wants to sue the company because they say their new technology and their new product infringes on the concept of mayonnaise, which of course is an egg-based product. Through this competitive landscape, they feel threatened, of course, but it's a new technology, or it's a new innovation to a marketplace that has been created. And this happens all the time in lots and lots of product categories. This is just one example of how you see this friction between an old product or old technology, an old way of doing things, and a newer way of doing things, and how that works, or how that plays itself out. So in this module, again, we have the new product development process, so which again is a very big process in most businesses. It's a very well studied area. Again, you could take an entire course just in new product development. In marketing, we do lots and lots of testing. There are actually three separate testing phases that happen in the new product development process. And largely those phases deal with how the market reacts to the product, and the ability for the firm to create a product that the market wants. It's usually a mixture of internal and external testing that happens prior to launch, during the design, and during the build-up phase to a new product. So new product development process is something that is a big deal. And then also, once the product launches, we watch and look at sales as the product becomes what we call diffused in the marketplace, and we try to manage that diffusion process. So, for instance, we may want the product to take off very rapidly, to saturate the market very quickly, or in other cases, we want a very slow takeoff, and we want to um, be able to have that product sales slowed down at least a little bit at the beginning. And we have different strategies we use to do that. So there are different barriers and accelerators to product sales once a new product is launched into the marketplace that can be studied. Okay, so there's a lot that goes on in this. Again, it's an extremely well studied and researched field. And so there are a number of different articles that just talk about the idea of creating new products. And that should just give you a flavor for some of this stuff here. There's an exploit the product life cycle piece that is an add-on article if you wanted a little bit more about this. We also use something called the BAS model, which is a statistical approach. It's a modeling approach to predict the product life cycle chart. So that's a chart that shows sales over the lifetime of a product for an industry, for a product category. It sort of resembles a normal curve, but it's really not. And the BAS model is a really a groundbreaking model that was developed, believe it or not, in the 60s, early 70s to predict what that model would look like, what that curve would look like over a long period of time. So that's introduced here because that's something that you can do with an Excel sheet. It's pretty easy to map out a product's curve like that. And again, it's something where you see those product life cycle curves in a textbook. Well, believe it or not, we actually calculate those and we map those and we try to understand how they change or how they could change over with different marketing inputs, if you will. Okay, so some questions you'd want to be able to answer. Explain the concept of discontinuity, how it relates to disruptive innovations. So discontinuity is a new product that comes out that causes you to change your behavioral pattern. That'd be something that's discontinuous or it has a high level of discontinuity. And it slows down the rate of adoption. But disruptive innovations are innovations that change how we do things, and they're vitally, again, important to our culture, our society, to a vibrant market-based economy. You have to have innovation, have to have disruptive innovations in order for it to function properly. So it's a vital thing to just kind of think about in terms of how um, businesses operate, but also just we operate kind of socially, if you will. Product concept tests, vitally important again. And one of the three tests we do when we're developing new products, new product development process is a concept test. And then the three essential features that every successful product needs to have, and they're the benefit the customer receives, the technology or the resource the firm possesses in order to create the product, and then the form of the product. That idea of that three-legged stool, if you will, three component model of new products is in a lecture, in video lectures, which I think is beneficial to know about as well. So that's kind of the recap. I mean, if you're going to really dive into this module and get a lot out of it, those three questions are good summary questions to think about. So, all right, have fun again with this material, and this is a great area to dive deep into. And one of the concepts here is that you can form competitive advantages lots of different ways, one of which though is through innovation. And so that's sort of the context of the module, that when we're in a competitive environment we want to find ways to um, gain competitive advantages, sustainable ones. And a firm that innovates successfully a lot absolutely does that. So, all right, have fun. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.